Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I am going to continue my coverage of Crown and Skull. The primary focus of today will be to go over the basic equipment and custom equipment system that is in Crown and Skull, as well as hero points, and then how later on after character creation you can expend hero points to add to your inventory of items, basic items, or to enhance or pick up additional weapons or armor and such. So it really is a very unique system that Brandish Gilhelm has come up with, and really that's the standout feature to me of Crown and Skull. This game differentiates itself from virtually everything else. It is a truly unique experience reading through this. There are so many different systems that you've probably never seen before. It is so innovative. It is so break the mold kind of game system that it's very hard to categorize as other than just saying it's an independent TTRPG. And when I say independent, it's independent of old school mechanics. It's independent of anything that is Dungeons and Dragons adjacent, or Dungeons and Dragons itself. It has so many different systems within it that you just haven't seen before, or certainly I haven't seen before. And so it's hard to put this in any other category than its own. It's a stand-alone game system. So I'm really excited about continuing my coverage of this game system. And it's been a little while since I've covered it, so I wanted to get back into this and go through it. Now, at the end of this video, so in my end screen, I have a big announcement to make, and so please stay through to that, and then I will continue in the next week or so, continue coverage through Crown and Skull. And as you can see, I have the book here. It's an absolutely beautiful book. It is incredible, the structure, the layout of the book, the quality of the book as well. So if you can, get your hands on this. And then I have other announcements as well for this game system. So without further ado, let's jump right into taking a look at basic equipment and custom equipment and the hero point system for purchasing new or enhancing what you already have. So here we go. I'm going to start with the with character templates, and that's because this is what is going to tell you what your starting points are for purchasing equipment. So we can see here a soldier chooses 9 points of basic equipment and basic armaments. Now, I'm going to take a very strict interpretation of this, and anyone more familiar than me, please feel free to correct me. When I see choose 9 points of basic equipment and basic armaments, I'm considering 9 points across both categories. Not 18 points, 9 for one, 9 for the other. So equipment, 9 points across the board. This is starting equipment. Remember, you'll have opportunities as an adventurer to, not the character class, but the, you will have opportunities to gather equipment as you're going along, or purchase equipment when you're in a state of rest, which I'll talk about later as well. Soldiers, 9 points. Adventurers, 9 points. Sages get 6 points of basic equipment and basic armaments. The smith gets 12 points of basic equipment and armaments. The cleric gets 5 of basic equipment and armaments. The hoodlum gets 9. I'm sorry, yeah, 9 of basic equipment and armaments. So there you have the starting equipment hero points that each of the character templates get to have access to. So next screen, let's see, I'm making sure that we're looking at the same thing. So here's a basic equipment. So when you're starting off your character, all right, you are going to have to choose your 9 points or whatever your starting points are to purchase your basic equipment list. Now, I recommend that you go to armaments and armor first. All right, make sure that you get the weapon and the armor that you want to start off with, and then you can go back and start looking at any additional points to pick up your basic equipment. So looking here, you can see the lesser the damage, the cheaper the cost of the weapon. So a dagger, a walking staff are just a D4. They only cost 1 hit point. A short sword is a D6 for 1 point as well. So that's so D4 damage or D6 damage, just 1 point cost. A long sword, which is a D8 damage, costs 2. A great sword, D10 damage, costs 3. We have a wood axe, which is a D6. So you can see the system is basically a pretty basic system. The pick hammer is a D6. However, it costs 2 points, 2 hero points, because it reduces the target armor by 1 hit. All right, by 1 per hit. Sorry. So it has an added feature to it, and so it costs a little bit more. A Warhammer is a D10. That is most likely a two-handed weapon. You can see like a studded mace. If maximum damage, stun target for 3 phases, so that is a D8, but does +2 or it costs 2. I'm looking at longsword really quick, and I just noticed that it was like, if max damage, roll again. Wow! So you get like an additional attack die or damage die roll when you roll max damage on the first roll. That's interesting. I've never seen that before either. So there you go. There's just more things that just keep on jumping out here. So some of your most expensive items here on this basic armaments list, are your firearms, which kind of makes sense because they do a lot of damage, and they and they have a lot of unique features to them and some drawbacks as well. So as you can see here, a musket is heard for miles. It takes D6 phases to reload it. It costs 7 points, 7 hero points. A flint pistol, concealed, D6 phases to reload as well. That does D10. So a handheld weapon still does D10. Now your armor, so a cloak gives you a +1 defense. It's +3 to stealth skills and only costs 1 point. 1 hero point. Greaves, a +1. Boots with armored shins, plus 1 point of hero points. A leather vest gives you +2. No protection against blunt force, costs 2 hero points. Chain shirt costs +3. It is noisy, costs 3 hero points. Scale vest +3. It is rare, requires an expert blacksmith. All right, so you're not going to just buy this off the rack. You have to find an expert blacksmith in order to purchase this. All right, so that might be your hindrance in finding someone that provides this. A helm is a +1 defense. It draws enemy attention, and it only costs 1 point. Um, Chest plate +4 defense, -3 skill text. Cannot swim in this. Cost 5. A wooden shield cost. It's a +1. Absorbs 2 hits before attrition, and that means 2 hits before it is destroyed. And 3 points. Cost 3 points to get that. A steel shield absorbs 3 hits before attrition, costs 5. And a tower shield is a +3, clumsy, ignores attrition from arrows. All right, so it cannot be damaged by arrows. 5 points. Now, it's important to remember that all characters have a base of 6 defense for just their regular clothing. So when you add these bonuses, you're increasing their defensive value from a 6 up to, and you add all of the pluses that they're wearing. So I would certainly consider purchasing your armor first, your weapons second, and then if you have any leftover points, then I would come over to your basic list. Now here on your basic list, you can see a backpack is very expensive, right? A backpack is going to cost you 6 points. Now it gives you the additional 2 carrying slots just for wearing a backpack. So that's a benefit that you could eventually, I think, purchase unless you were a blacksmith to start off with, and you're starting off with 12 hero points to make these purchases. I would most likely hold off on getting a backpack. Torches are only 1. Most of these items are only 1. A bandage kit, which is probably very, very useful, heals 1 crossed off skill. This is a 3 count for 3 points. And then the other expensive things is powder kits and blessed water for 3 points a piece. So you have some basic equipment list here. Now you have large items, and you can see these start coming at a very higher cost, right? So horses cost 5 points, a cart costs 10 points. Now, a group of players can come together and purchase a cart or a wagon or a war wagon or any of these other items. So you can share the costs amongst multiple players in order to purchase these things. So now let's take a look at the hero points system as it relates to purchasing items. So hero points, and I'm just going to jump down to where it says hero points can only be spent to upgrade a character when resting in a safe place with required facilities or services. At first, this limitation may not seem like much. Resting to regain resources is very common in many RPGs. Simple restoration occurs by the rules on page 12. Spending hero points is a different matter, requiring rest, safety, skilled people, special equipment, training, or technical services to perform. In short, spending hero points to not just rest. It's an active state of your character's development with more specific requirements than rest and safety. So, and hero points are granted by the game master at the end of each session. So you as a game master are going to have to decide, well, how many hero points am I actually going to share out, to the party members? And one of the suggestions was that, you're going to give everyone that's participated in the session, at the bare minimum, at least 1 hero point, but they'll probably earn a few more than that. And it mentions like the MVP of the session might get additional hero points for really standing out. So you could be as generous as you want with these things or as stingy as you want. I think over a course of time, you're going to find that happy medium and allow for your players to develop their characters and to kind of get new equipment or upgrade equipment at a fairly balanced rate. So speaking of upgrading equipment, that's what I want to go to next. And so we have the basic lists and everything, armor and defense. We're talking about this here custom equipment. So, and I'm going to expand this here because, again, another unique system here. So gear is king for the life of an adventurer. It's cheap lying around and often quite awesome in creative hands. In Crown and Skull, hero points can be used to acquire and upgrade equipment. Like all point spending in the game, this can only be done while resting in a safe place with the aid of an expert, in this case, a smith, mentor, or artificer. Gear is like most things in Crown and Skull. It has a base cost, gets more expensive with effects, and earns a discount with limitations. This allows you to buy a super simple dagger or craft a very specific magic item, all with the same value system. Any given effect added to gear can only be applied once per item, though an item may have multiple effects. So here we have a 1-point gear is a D6 weapon or +1 armors. Small weapons, pouches, ropes, lanterns, torches, climbing kits, travel rations, a staff, a ring or jewelry item, cloak or boots. 2-point gear are D8 weapons, +2 armors, medium-sized weapons, light armor, flares, bear traps and snares, thieves' tools, and common supplies. 3-point gear, D10 weapons, +3 armors, heavy and exotic weapons, mechanized weapons and tools, gear for horses, complex or heavy armor. And 5-point gear is D12 weapons, +4 armors, firearms, siege weapons, war-ready equipment, and armor. Character creation custom equipment. Gear effects list at 3-point cost. A deadly weapon, add an additional damage die of the weapon type. Remember, you can only apply each of these once to a particular weapon. Balanced weapon, ignore one target defense to attack with this weapon. Lucky weapon, critical fails with this weapon incur no penalties. Chained weapon, you cannot lose or be robbed of this weapon. Lightweight, finely made equipment doesn't inhibit stealth or swimming. Reinforced armor, add an additional +1 defense. Bleed, after inflicting damage, target bleeds the same damage D4 rounds. Die upgrade. Upgrade the damage die of a weapon by 1 grade. All right, that means like D6 to a D8, D8 to a D10, and so forth. Cold forged. This metal equipment is immune to corrosion of all kinds. Reinforced. This gear is resilient to damage 2 hits to cross off. Compact. This gear includes no unwanted attention or clumsiness. All right. Gear limitations. So these gain you points to then spend elsewhere. Breakable. On a critical fail usage, a minimum damage roll, or special GM notice circumstances, this equipment just goes to pieces. Sought after. There are nefarious folk seeking this gear. Stolen. The owner of this gear or forces of law will hunt you down. Wonky. This gear has a silly or unexpected malfunctions the GM will referee as needed. Heavy. This equipment is bulky, occupying 2 item slots in your inventory. Garish. The appearance of this gear is so over the top, ugly, or off-putting to most, this will draw enemy ire, embarrass you, or embolden foes. A piece of equipment cannot go below 1 point cost. All right, so you can't use these 3 points to purchase something for 0. All right, upgrading your gear. During play, your character will receive hero points for completing sessions. If used to upgrade gear, consider these key rules. Customizations are added for 3 points as normal. Upgrade gear can only be done at a smithy or artisan. Limitations cannot be added as part of an upgrade. All effects can only be applied to a single item once, no stacking. The final cost of a piece of gear can never be less than 1 point. Let me get to that. Limitations cannot be added as part of an upgrade. So that's a question I'm going to ask because that seems to, if maybe that means that you can add a limitation at the same time as you're going to add a gear effect. So it has to be done totally independently of the other time. Limitations cannot be added as part of an upgrade. Okay. Yeah, I'll need some clarification on that one just to see how it goes. But so if anybody is more familiar with it, there's 2 things I want clarification on. Number 1 is the starting hero points for equipment. Is it, let's say for the soldier, is it 9 across both basic equipment and armaments? I'm assuming yes, but you know, if it has been clarified to you that it's 9 and 9, please let me know. I seriously doubt that though, and I probably wouldn't do it that way. I'd rather have the players work, work for it to get additional stuff. So that's the first thing, and second thing is, what is that last point of if I'm upgrading, I can add a flaw at the same time or whatnot, or I can add a flaw first and then at some other point in time I can add an upgrade later. I have a feeling that players might just look to hang out in a safe space for 2 days in order to do that kind of a thing, but we'll see what feedback I get on this. I also don't see anything about the length of time it takes to do those upgrades as well. This probably shouldn't be something that, all right, I'll have it back to you in 10 minutes kind of thing. I would think that there should be some time while you're doing that. Maybe you'll have to take out like a loner weapon or a loner piece of armor in the meantime while your other stuff is getting upgraded. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will continue doing some follow-up, certainly in the chat as well. Do some follow-up, and now let me shift to the end screen here for that special announcement. So as you can see here on my end screen, I have the great pleasure of having an interview with Brandish Gilhelm, Runehammer Games, on December 11th at 10 a.m. to roughly 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So that is December 11th. That is a Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11:30. He will be on this channel. It's my first time interviewing him, I will then have an opportunity to meet him in person at the Philadelphia Area Game Expo uh, later on in January. So, really looking forward to that. I am going to go to, before the convention actually starts, before I even check into the hotel, my first stop in Philadelphia will be at his brick and mortar, um, Runehammer Games shop, and and the primary reason why I asked him to come on here is that Crown and Skull Volume 2 is currently in pre-order. So you can go to his website and get the pre-order Volume 2, which is adding so much more to this. So I will put the link for his website where you can get the pre-order in the description of this video as well. And I thank everybody for stopping in. I'm really excited about this interview because I'm a big fan of his, obviously of Crown and Skull, as well as, Index Card RPG and, the Viking Death Squad and just everything that he's, and including his art, which is just outstanding. And you can see his art in a number of other projects, including Shadow Dark, which I'm a huge fan of as well. So really excited about this. I kind of took like a shot in the dark and was like, hey, I have a small YouTube channel. I'd love for you to come on. And he said, sounds cool. I was like, oh my gosh, and just set it up through his Runehammer Games contact, Alyssa, who was great, very quick response in setting it up. And so I thank both him and she for, or her, I should say, for, setting this whole thing up. I'm really excited about it. So thanks for joining. I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen or at page 2. I will be there in January. Really looking forward to that and running a number of games there, plus playing in a whole bunch and leaving plenty of time to just walk around and meet people and chat about gaming in general and whatnot. So thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, upcoming weekend, and you all take care. Thanks.